Before you scroll away, before you move on to the next distraction, before another worry steals your attention, listen to me carefully, because there is something I need you to understand today. Something your heart has been trying to tell you for a long time. Something your soul has been whispering beneath all the noise. You have been carrying weight that was never meant for your shoulders. You have been trying to hold together things that were never your responsibility to hold together. You have been exhausting yourself, attempting to become the foundation of your own life. And that is why you are tired. Not because you are weak, not because you lack faith, not because you have failed. You are tired because you have been standing where only I was meant to stand. I see you. I see the thoughts you never tell anyone. I see the fears that wake you in the middle of the night. I see the worries you carry into every morning. I see the silent conversations happening inside your mind. You smile for others. You encourage others. You strengthen others. Yet deep inside, there are moments when you wonder who will strengthen you. There are moments when you feel as if everything depends on you, as if one mistake could destroy everything, as if one bad decision could undo years of work, as if one unexpected problem could make your entire life collapse. But listen to me. That pressure was never created by me. I never asked you to become the savior of your family. I never asked you to become the source of your own peace. I never asked you to become the answer to every problem around you. I never asked you to carry the weight of tomorrow. I asked you to walk with me. That is different. Many of my children have confused responsibility with control. They believe being responsible means controlling everything. They believe maturity means worrying about everything. They believe strength means never needing help. But that belief has stolen their peace. My child, strength is not carrying everything alone. Strength is knowing where to place the weight. Think about that. A person carrying a heavy stone for miles appears strong, but a wiser person finds a place to set the stone down. Which one truly understands strength? Some of you have been carrying stones for years. The stone of fear, the stone of guilt, the stone of disappointment, the stone of regret, the stone of financial pressure, the stone of family burdens, the stone of unanswered prayers. And every day you add another stone, then another, and you wonder why your soul feels exhausted. You were never designed to live that way. Look at the birds I created. They do not spend all night worrying about tomorrow's food. Look at the flowers I placed in the fields. They do not panic about how they will grow. Yet I care for them. I sustain them. I provide for them. And you are worth far more than birds, far more than flowers, far more than anything else I created on earth. So why do you believe I will forget you? Why do you believe I will abandon you? Why do you believe you must solve everything yourself? I have watched you trying. I have watched you calculating every possible outcome. I have watched you preparing for disasters that never happened. I have watched you replaying old conversations. I have watched you imagining worst-case scenarios. And while you were doing all of that, I remained exactly where I have always been. Right beside you, holding what you could not see, protecting what you did not know was being protected, making a way where you could not find one. You often think miracles only happen when seas split, when mountains move, when impossible doors open. But sometimes my greatest miracles are the disasters that never reach you, the danger you never knew existed, the sickness that never came, the accident that never happened, the wrong path you never took, the person who left before causing greater damage, the opportunity that closed because it would have harmed you. I have been working for you in ways you cannot measure, in ways you cannot count, in ways you cannot fully understand. That is why faith is not seeing everything. Faith is trusting the one who sees everything. Right now, many people are building their lives on foundations that cannot hold them. Some build their identity on money. Others build it on relationships. Some build it on popularity. Others build it on success. Some build it on health. Others build it on the approval of people. And all of those things can change overnight. Money can disappear, people can leave, careers can end, health can weaken, opinions can shift. But I do not change. I remain. I endure. I stand. I was faithful before your problem arrived. I will remain faithful after it leaves. The world changes. Circumstances change. People change. But I do not. That is why I invite you to stand on me. Not because I need your trust, but because you need my stability. You need a foundation that does not crack under pressure. You need a source of peace that survives difficult seasons. You need something deeper than temporary circumstances. And that deeper foundation is me. Today, I want you to stop measuring your future by your current situation. Stop looking at your limitations and assuming they are my limitations. Stop looking at closed doors and assuming the story is over. Stop looking at delays and assuming I have forgotten you. The story is not finished. The chapter is not complete. The answer has not fully arrived. But I am already working, even now, even here, even in the situation that seems impossible. I am working. If this message is speaking directly to your heart today, type "I trust you, Lord" in the comments. Let that declaration become your first step toward peace. And if these words have encouraged you, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs hope today. And if you feel blessed by these messages and would like to help this ministry continue reaching hearts around the world, you can support through the link provided below. Remember this before you leave. You do not have to become the foundation of your life. You only need to stand on the one who already is. Come closer for a moment. Slow your thoughts. Set down your worries for these next few minutes. Listen carefully, because what I am about to tell you may change the way you carry your life. Many of you have been searching for peace in places where peace was never meant to live. You have searched for it in people's approval. You have searched for it in financial security. You have searched for it in perfect circumstances. You have searched for it in future achievements. You have searched for it in the promise that one day everything will finally be easy. And because of that search, your heart has become weary. You keep telling yourself, when this problem is solved, then I will have peace. When my finances improve, then I will rest. When my family situation changes, then I will breathe again. When my health improves, then I will stop worrying. When I finally reach my goal, then I will be happy. But notice what happens. Every time one concern disappears, another concern arrives. Every time one mountain is climbed, another mountain appears on the horizon. Every time one prayer is answered, a new need emerges. This is why so many people spend their entire lives chasing peace, but never truly finding it. They are searching for peace in circumstances. Peace was never meant to come from circumstances. True peace comes from me. My child, if your peace depends on everything going right, your peace will always be fragile. Because life in this world will never be perfect. There will be unexpected phone calls. There will be delays. There will be disappointments. There will be seasons you do not understand. There will be questions without immediate answers. There will be storms. Yet even in those storms, I remain unchanged. The sea may rise. The winds may howl. The rain may fall. But the rock beneath the ocean remains where it has always been. And I am that rock. Many of you wake up every morning and immediately begin carrying burdens. Before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already racing. You think about bills. You think about deadlines. You think about relationships. You think about responsibilities. You think about everything that could go wrong. And by the time your day begins, you are already exhausted. I never intended for your mornings to begin with fear. I intended them to begin with trust. I intended them to begin with the awareness that you are not walking into the day alone. You are walking with me. Think about how different your life would feel if you truly believed that. Not just in your mind, not just during prayer, but throughout every moment of the day. What if you remembered that I am with you during difficult meetings, What if you remembered that I am with you during painful conversations? What if you remembered that I am with you when unexpected problems appear? What if you remembered that I am with you when tears fill your eyes? Would you still carry the same fear? Would you still panic so quickly? Would you still believe you must solve everything alone? Many times, the reason anxiety grows so large is because people focus entirely on the problem and forget the one standing beside them. Peter walked on water while his eyes remained on me. The moment his attention shifted to the storm, fear took over. The storm had been there the entire time. The waves had been there the entire time. The wind had been there the entire time. What changed was his focus. The same is true in your life. Some of the storms you face today are real. I am not asking you to pretend they do not exist. I am asking you to remember that they are not bigger than me. Your financial challenge is not bigger than me. Your family struggle is not bigger than me. Your health concern is not bigger than me. Your unanswered prayer is not bigger than me. Your future is not bigger than me. The problem may be large from where you stand, but I see the entire picture. I see what came before. I see what is happening now. I see what is coming next. Nothing surprises me. Nothing catches me unprepared. Nothing arrives outside my awareness. Even the things that make you afraid have already passed before my eyes. I know the ending of every chapter. I know the outcome of every battle. I know the purpose hidden inside every season. That does not mean every season feels pleasant. Growth rarely feels comfortable. Transformation often feels difficult. Waiting can feel painful. But do not mistake discomfort for abandonment. Just because you do not understand what I am doing does not mean I have stopped working. A seed buried beneath the soil may believe nothing is happening, yet beneath the surface, life is developing. Roots are growing. Strength is forming. Preparation is taking place. The seed cannot see it, but growth is happening. Many of you are in that kind of season right now. You cannot see the progress. You cannot see the breakthrough. You cannot see the answer. Yet beneath the surface, I am working. I am arranging what you cannot arrange. I am opening what you cannot open. I am preparing what you cannot prepare. I am strengthening parts of you that could not be strengthened any other way. One day you will look back and realize that what felt like delay was actually preparation. What felt like silence was actually protection. What felt like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like loss was actually rescue. You will see that I was faithful even when you could not understand my ways. Until then, keep walking, keep trusting, keep praying, keep believing. Not because everything makes sense, but because I remain trustworthy even when life does not make sense. Today, I want you to release one burden into my hands. Just one. You do not have to solve everything today. You do not have to carry everything today. You do not have to understand everything today. Simply take one burden and place it before me. Then allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to trust. Because the burden you surrender becomes lighter than the burden you clutch. And the peace you receive from me is stronger than the peace the world offers. If these words are speaking to your heart, type, "My peace is in God," in the comments below. Declare it not because you feel it perfectly yet, but because you are choosing to believe it. And remember this, the storm may still be around you, but it does not have to live inside you, because I am still with you, and I always will be. Listen to me carefully. There is something happening inside your heart that many people never recognize. You have become so accustomed to carrying heavy burdens that you no longer notice how exhausted you are. The pressure has become familiar. The stress has become normal. The anxiety has become routine. The worry has become part of your daily rhythm. And because it has been there for so long, you have started believing it belongs there. But it does not. That weight was never meant to become a permanent resident in your soul. I see the way your mind races ahead of you. I see the conversations you rehearse before they happen. I see the outcomes you try to predict. I see the problems you attempt to solve before they even arrive. I see the nights when your body is tired but your thoughts refuse to rest. I see the mornings when you wake up carrying yesterday's worries before the day has even begun. And I want to ask you something. How much of that burden have I actually asked you to carry? Not how much the world told you to carry. Not how much fear told you to carry. Not how much guilt told you to carry. How much have I asked you to carry? The answer may surprise you, far less than you think. Many people confuse responsibility with ownership. They believe that because they care about something, they must control it. Because they love someone, they must fix them. Because they see a problem, they must solve it. Because they face uncertainty, they must eliminate it. But that is not how trust works. Trust begins where control ends. My child, there are things in your life that belong in my hands, not yours. You were never created to carry tomorrow. You were created to walk through today. You were never created to control every outcome. You were created to trust the one who sees every outcome. You were never created to know everything. You were created to know me. Look at how often fear tries to convince you that everything depends on you. Fear whispers that if you stop worrying, something terrible will happen. Fear whispers that if you relax, everything will fall apart. Fear whispers that if you let go, disaster will arrive. But fear is a liar. Worry has never protected you. Anxiety has never added a single day to your life. Fear has never solved a problem before it arrived. Yet countless people continue serving worry as if it were their protector. Meanwhile, I stand beside them offering peace. I stand beside them offering rest. I stand beside them offering strength. Yet they keep choosing the burden instead of the one who can carry it. Today, I want you to see something clearly. The burden is not proof of responsibility. Sometimes the burden is proof that you have picked up something that belongs to me. Imagine a child trying to carry a piece of furniture across a room. The child strains. The child struggles. The child becomes frustrated. Not because the child is weak, but because the furniture was never meant to be carried by the child. The loving father does not stand back and criticize. The loving father steps forward and lifts what the child cannot. That is what I have been trying to do in your life. But sometimes you grip the burden so tightly that you do not allow me to take it. You keep holding what I keep reaching for. You keep carrying what I keep offering to lift. You keep wrestling with what I keep offering to handle. And then you wonder why you are tired. The invitation has always been there. The invitation remains open today. Give it to me. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel stronger. Not when you understand everything. Now, give me the fear. Give me the uncertainty. Give me the pressure. Give me the disappointment. Give me the situation you keep replaying in your mind. Give me the conversation you cannot stop thinking about. Give me the future you keep trying to control. Give me the burden. You may ask, Lord, how do I do that? You do it one thought at a time. Every time fear appears, bring it to me. Every time anxiety rises, bring it to me. Every time worry returns, bring it to me again. Trust is not usually one dramatic moment. Trust is a daily decision. Sometimes an hourly decision, sometimes a moment-by-moment decision. You choose again, and then you choose again, and then you choose again. That is how faith grows. Not through perfection, through repetition. The world often teaches you that peace comes after the problem is solved, but my peace works differently. My peace can exist before the answer arrives. My peace can exist while the storm is still raging. My peace can exist while you are still waiting. Because my peace does not depend on circumstances. It depends on my presence. And my presence has never left you. There are people listening right now who feel overwhelmed. You have been carrying concerns about your family. You have been carrying concerns about finances. You have been carrying concerns about your future. You have been carrying concerns about your health. You have been carrying concerns about people you love. And some days, it feels like the weight is too much. Hear me clearly. You do not have to carry it alone anymore. You were never supposed to. I know what you need before you ask. I know what hurts before you speak. I know what scares you before you admit it. I know every detail of your story. Nothing is hidden from me. Nothing is forgotten by me. Nothing is beyond my reach. The same hands that formed the stars hold your future. The same voice that spoke light into existence speaks hope over your life. The same power that raised the broken and restored the lost is still working today. Do not underestimate what I can do with a situation you have nearly given up on. Do not assume the story is over because you cannot see the next chapter. Do not conclude that nothing is happening simply because nothing is visible. I am working beneath the surface. I am moving in ways you cannot yet recognize. I am building things you cannot yet see. And one day you will understand why I asked you to trust me. One day you will see how many times I protected you. One day you will see how many times I guided you. One day you will see how many times I carried you when you thought you were walking alone. Until then, keep placing your weight on me. Not because life is easy, but because I am faithful. Not because you have all the answers, but because I am the answer that remains when every other answer fails. If these words are touching your heart today, type, "I give it to God," in the comments below. Let that be your declaration. Let that be your reminder. Let that be your decision. Because the burden you place in my hands becomes lighter than the burden you keep in your own. And remember this truth before you leave. You do not need to be strong enough for everything. You only need to stay close to the one who is. Come closer and listen carefully, because many of you are standing in a season that feels unfamiliar. A season where things that once felt secure no longer feel secure. A season where things you counted on have started to shift. A season where the ground beneath your plans feels unstable. And because of that, fear has been whispering to you. Fear says everything is falling apart. Fear says you are losing control. Fear says the future is uncertain. Fear says you are alone. But I need you to hear my voice above every other voice today. Just because something is shaking does not mean it is being destroyed. Sometimes things shake because I am revealing what was never meant to carry your trust. Think about the foundations people build their lives upon. Some build on money. Some build on status. Some build on relationships. Some build on appearance. Some build on achievements. Some build on comfort. And while those things may serve a purpose, they were never meant to become the foundation of a soul. A foundation must be strong enough to remain when storms arrive. A foundation must be deep enough to survive pressure. A foundation must be steady enough to support the weight of life. That foundation has always been me. Yet many of my children do not realize this until something begins to shake. When the job changes, when the relationship struggles, when the health report arrives, when the opportunity disappears, when the plans fall apart, suddenly they discover they were standing on something smaller than they thought. My child, this is not a punishment. This is an invitation to discover what cannot be shaken. The world has taught many people to trust what they can see. Trust the numbers, trust the results, trust the circumstances, trust the appearance of stability. But faith works differently. Faith sees beyond what is visible. Faith understands that visible things change, visible things age, visible things break, visible things end. But I do not. I remain the same yesterday, today, and forever. That means the security you find in me is not temporary. It is not dependent on the economy. It is not dependent on politics. It is not dependent on people. It is not dependent on circumstances. It is not dependent on luck. It is dependent on me. And I have never failed. There are people listening right now who are exhausted because they keep trying to secure every possible outcome. You are trying to prepare for every problem. You are trying to prevent every disappointment. You are trying to control every variable. You are trying to guarantee success. And the effort is wearing you down. You were never designed to carry that responsibility. Only I can see every path. Only I can see every tomorrow. Only I can see every consequence before it happens. You cannot carry what only I was meant to carry. That is why your shoulders feel heavy. That is why your mind feels crowded. That is why your heart feels restless. You have been carrying responsibilities that belong to me. Today, I am asking you to release them. Not because they do not matter, but because I care about them even more than you do. I care about your future. I care about your family. I care about your health. I care about your dreams. I care about your finances. I care about your purpose. I care about every detail of your life. Nothing is too small for my attention. Nothing is too complicated for my wisdom. Nothing is too broken for my power. Sometimes you think I only care about the big things, the major crises, the life-changing moments, the dramatic events, but I care about the quiet worries too, the concern you never told anyone about, the fear hidden behind your smile, the question you keep asking in private, the tears that nobody saw, the disappointment you buried. I see all of it, and I have not turned away. Many people believe they must become stronger before they come to me. They think they need more faith, more confidence, more courage, more certainty. But that is not how this works. You do not come to me because you are strong. You come to me because I am. You do not come to me because you have all the answers. You come because I do. You do not come because you have everything together. You come because I can hold together what you cannot. That is why I invite the weary. That is why I welcome the burdened. That is why I draw near to the brokenhearted, because those who know they need me are often closest to discovering my strength. Perhaps that is where you are today. Perhaps something has shaken your confidence. Perhaps something has challenged your plans. Perhaps something has left you uncertain. If so, do not panic. Do not assume the story is ending. Do not assume the shaking means defeat. Sometimes shaking reveals where the true foundation is. Sometimes shaking removes what was never meant to stay. Sometimes shaking clears space for something better. And sometimes shaking teaches a soul how to trust. The strongest faith is not built during easy seasons. The strongest faith is built when you choose to trust me while questions remain unanswered. When you choose to trust me while circumstances remain unclear. When you choose to trust me while the outcome remains unseen. That kind of faith grows deep roots. Deep roots survive storms. Deep roots survive droughts. Deep roots survive difficult seasons. And I am teaching many of you to grow roots right now. The process may not feel comfortable. Growth rarely does. But it will be worth it. Because the peace I am building in you cannot be taken away by temporary circumstances. The confidence I am building in you cannot be destroyed by temporary setbacks. The trust I am building in you will carry you through seasons you have not yet seen. So stop measuring your life by what is shaking. Instead, measure your life by what remains. And I remain. My promises remain. My love remains. My mercy remains. My faithfulness remains. My presence remains. The storm may change, the season may change, the circumstances may change. But I remain. If this message is strengthening your heart today, type "God is my foundation" in the comments below. Let those words remind you that when everything else shifts, there is still a rock beneath your feet. And remember this before you go: the things around you may shake, but the one holding you never will. Be still for a moment. Let your heart slow down. Let the noise around you fade into the background, because there is something I need you to hear today. Something many of my children struggle to believe when they find themselves in a season of waiting. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not abandoned. You are not standing outside of my attention. Even now, as you listen to these words, my eyes are upon you. I know that some of you have been waiting a long time, waiting for answers, waiting for healing, waiting for restoration, waiting for provision, waiting for direction, waiting for a breakthrough that seems slower than you expected. And if you are honest, there have been moments when you wondered where I was, moments when you asked questions you were afraid to speak aloud, moments when you looked at your situation and thought, Lord, do you see me? Yes, I see you. I have always seen you. I saw you before this waiting season began. I see you now. And I will still see you when this season ends. The length of the wait has not changed. My awareness of your life. Many people believe waiting means nothing is happening, but waiting and inactivity are not the same thing. A farmer plants a seed and waits, yet beneath the soil, life is forming. Roots are spreading. Strength is developing. Growth is happening where human eyes cannot see it. The farmer does not dig up the seed every day to check its progress. The farmer trusts the process. Many of my children want harvests without seasons. They want answers without growth. They want breakthroughs without preparation. They want destinations without journeys. But some blessings require preparation. Some doors require maturity. Some assignments require strengthening. Some prayers require timing. I see the whole picture. You only see one chapter. You see today's struggle. I see tomorrow's victory. You see today's confusion. I see tomorrow's understanding. You see today's delay. I see tomorrow's purpose. Trust me with what you cannot yet understand. My child, there are things I am protecting you from that you do not even know exist. There are roads I did not allow you to walk because they would have wounded you. There are doors I did not open because they would have distracted you. There are opportunities I removed because they would have taken you away from what I prepared for you. One day, you will understand. One day you will look back and see my fingerprints on moments you once called disappointments. You will see how I redirected you. You will see how I protected you. You will see how I preserved you. You will see how I carried you. But until that day comes, trust remains necessary. Trust is not the absence of questions. Trust is choosing me, even when questions remain. Trust is continuing to walk when the entire path is not visible. Trust is believing my character when circumstances feel confusing. Think about how often I have been faithful to you already. Think about the battles you survived. Think about the seasons you thought would break you. Think about the problems that once seemed impossible. Think about the prayers I have already answered. Think about the doors I have already opened. Think about the strength I have already provided. You did not arrive here alone. I brought you here. I sustained you. I guided you. I carried you. And I have not stopped now. Some of you are tired because you are measuring my faithfulness by your timeline. You expected the answer by now. You expected the breakthrough by now. You expected the change by now. And because it has not happened according to your schedule, discouragement has entered your heart. But hear me carefully. A delayed answer is not evidence of my absence. A delayed answer is not evidence of my rejection. A delayed answer is not evidence that I have forgotten you. Sometimes delay is preparation. Sometimes delay is protection. Sometimes delay is positioning. Sometimes delay is part of a greater story than you can currently see. I do not waste waiting seasons. I use them. I use them to deepen faith. I use them to strengthen character. I use them to teach dependence. I use them to reveal what truly matters. Many of the strongest people you admire were shaped during seasons nobody celebrated. Seasons of obscurity, seasons of silence, seasons of uncertainty, seasons where they learned to trust me more deeply than before. What if this season is doing the same thing in your life? What if I am building something stronger than you realize? What if I am preparing you for something greater than you expected? What if this chapter is not a setback, but a setup? Do not give up now. Do not walk away now. Do not stop believing now. You are closer than you think. The enemy wants you to focus on what has not happened. I want you to remember what I have already done. The enemy wants you to count delays. I want you to count blessings. The enemy wants you to focus on uncertainty. I want you to focus on my promises. The enemy wants you to believe you are alone. I want you to remember that I am with you every day, every moment, every step, even now, especially now. So take a deep breath. Release the pressure to force the answer. Release the pressure to solve everything immediately. Release the pressure to understand every detail and simply trust me. Trust that I am working. Trust that I am guiding. Trust that I am preparing. Trust that I am faithful. Because I am. If these words are speaking directly into your current season, type, "I will wait with faith," in the comments below. And if you have stayed with me this far, keep watching until the very end of this message series. The truths you are hearing are not just meant to encourage you for a moment. They are meant to strengthen your walk, deepen your faith, quiet your anxiety, and help you stand on a foundation that will carry you through every season of life. Remember this truth today. Waiting is not proof that I am absent. Waiting is often proof that I am working in places you cannot yet see. And when the time is right, what I have prepared will arrive exactly when it is meant to. Come and sit with me for a moment. Set aside the endless list of things you think you must accomplish. Set aside the worries that have been following you from morning to night. Set aside the pressure to figure everything out. And simply listen, because many of you have been searching everywhere for peace while standing right beside the source of it. You have searched through achievements. You have searched through possessions. You have searched through relationships. You have searched through routines. You have searched through distractions. Yet the peace you long for continues to feel just beyond reach. You keep telling yourself that if one more problem disappears, then you will finally rest. If one more prayer is answered, then you will finally relax. If one more obstacle moves, then you will finally feel secure. But every time one concern leaves, another arrives. Every time one challenge ends, another begins. And so the search continues. My child, the peace you need cannot be found at the end of a perfect circumstance. The peace you need is found in my presence. Many people spend years chasing external stability while neglecting internal trust. They organize everything around them while chaos remains inside them. They improve their circumstances while their hearts remain restless. They strengthen their plans while weakening their dependence upon me. Yet true peace does not begin around you. It begins within you. And it begins when you trust that I am who I say I am. The world teaches you that peace comes from certainty. But there is very little certainty in this world. Plans change. People change. Opportunities change. Seasons change. Bodies change. Circumstances change. Everything visible is temporary. That is why people who place their peace in temporary things often live in constant fear. They fear losing what they depend upon. They fear change. They fear uncertainty. They fear tomorrow. But I have called you to something different. I have called you to place your confidence in what does not change. I have called you to stand on eternal ground. I have called you to trust the one who remains faithful when everything else shifts. Look back over your life. There were seasons you thought would destroy you, moments you thought you would never survive, situations that felt impossible, heartbreaks that felt unbearable, losses that felt overwhelming. Yet here you are still standing, you are still breathing, you are still moving forward. Not because every situation turned out exactly as you wanted, but because I carried you through. There were days you thought your strength was gone, yet I gave you enough for one more day. There were nights when fear surrounded you, yet I remained beside you. There were moments when answers seemed far away, yet I never abandoned you. And I have not changed. The same God who carried you through yesterday is carrying you today. The same God who protected you before is protecting you now. The same God who made a way before can make a way again. Do not let temporary circumstances convince you that my faithfulness has ended. My faithfulness is not measured by one season. My faithfulness is woven through your entire story. Sometimes you focus so intensely on what is missing that you overlook what remains. You notice the closed door, but not the doors that stayed open. You notice the delay, but not the protection hidden within it. You notice the loss, but not the strength that survived it. You notice the storm, but not the shelter I provided during it. Today I want you to begin seeing differently. Not because your problems are imaginary, they are real. Not because your concerns do not matter, they do. But because your perspective determines how you carry what you face. A person who believes they are alone carries life differently than a person who knows they are accompanied. A person who believes everything depends on them carries life differently than a person who trusts me. A person who believes the future is random carries life differently than a person who believes I am guiding their steps. Perspective changes everything, and faith gives you a new perspective. Faith reminds you that you are not walking alone. Faith reminds you that your story is not finished. Faith reminds you that my promises are greater than your fears. Faith reminds you that what you see today is not the whole picture. There are things I am doing right now that you cannot yet understand. There are prayers I am answering in ways you do not yet recognize. There are blessings moving toward you that you cannot yet see. There are lessons forming within you that will strengthen you for future seasons. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Not your pain, not your tears, not your waiting, not your questions, not even your mistakes. I can use every part of your journey. That does not mean every moment feels good, but it does mean every moment can have purpose. Trust that purpose. Trust my timing. Trust my heart. Trust my character. You may not understand every step, but you can trust the one leading the journey. Today I want you to stop asking, what if everything goes wrong? And begin asking, what if God remains faithful as He always has? Because that question leads to hope. That question leads to peace. That question leads to trust. And trust leads to rest. There is a rest available to you that does not depend on perfect circumstances. There is a peace available to you that does not depend on complete understanding. There is a confidence available to you that does not depend on visible evidence. That peace comes from me. That rest comes from me. That confidence comes from me. And I am offering it to you right now. If these words are speaking to your heart, type, God is my peace, in the comments below. Let those words become more than a comment. Let them become a declaration over your life. And remember this before you continue your day. The peace you have been searching for is not waiting somewhere in the future. It is waiting in my presence right now. Choose to stand there. Choose to remain there. Choose to trust there. And you will discover that the peace of God is stronger than the problems that once stole your rest. Listen carefully. There is something I want to heal inside you today. Something that has been quietly draining your strength. Something that has been stealing your joy without you fully realizing it. You have spent too much time staring at what is gone. Too much time replaying what could have been. Too much time grieving doors that closed. Too much time measuring your life by what you no longer possess. And because your eyes have remained fixed on the loss, you have struggled to see what remains. I understand your pain. I understand the disappointment. I understand the heartbreak. I understand the questions. I understand the confusion. I understand the moments when you looked at your life and wondered why certain things happened the way they did. I was there. I saw every tear. I heard every prayer. I felt every ache inside your heart. Nothing escaped my notice. But today, I want you to look up, not because your loss was insignificant, not because your grief was unnecessary, not because your wounds were imaginary, but because there is more to your story than what left. Many of my children have become experts at counting what is missing. They count opportunities that disappeared. They count relationships that ended. They count dreams that were delayed. They count mistakes they wish they could undo. They count the years they believe they wasted. And while they are counting losses, they overlook blessings. They overlook strength they gained. They overlook wisdom they learned. They overlook growth that occurred. They overlook the ways I carried them through. My child, what left your life is not the entire story. What remains matters too. Look at yourself. You survived things that once seemed impossible. You endured seasons that should have broken you. You faced battles you never imagined facing. And yet here you are, not perfect, not finished, not without scars, but still standing. That matters. Do not underestimate what it means that you are still here. There were moments when you wanted to quit, moments when you wanted to give up, moments when you felt completely overwhelmed. Yet somehow you kept moving. Somehow you kept breathing. Somehow you kept taking another step. Do you know why? Because I was sustaining you. Even when you did not recognize it, even when you did not feel it, even when you questioned it, I was there. There are people listening today who are carrying regret. You keep revisiting old decisions. You keep replaying old mistakes. You keep imagining different outcomes. You keep wondering how life would look if you had chosen differently. But listen to me. You cannot build a future while living inside yesterday. The past may contain lessons, but it was never meant to become your home. Learn from it, grow from it, but do not live there. I am not calling you backward. I am calling you forward. There are still blessings ahead. There are still opportunities ahead. There are still moments of joy ahead. There are still answers ahead. There are still victories ahead. The story is not over. And because the story is not over, hope still belongs in your life. Many people think hope is a feeling. Hope is much deeper than a feeling. Hope is confidence in my faithfulness. Hope is believing that I am still working. Hope is trusting that my plans remain intact. Hope is remembering that I can create beauty from brokenness. Look throughout history. Again and again, I have taken what appeared ruined and brought life from it. I brought streams into deserts. I brought freedom to captives. I brought restoration to the broken. I brought purpose to the forgotten. I brought hope to those who believed hope was gone. And I have not lost that power. The same God who restored before still restores today. The same God who redeemed before still redeems today. The same God who healed before still heals today. The same God who provided before still provides today. Do not assume that because something ended, your future ended with it. Do not assume that because one chapter closed, the book is finished. Some of the greatest things I do begin after people believe everything is over. The ending they feared becomes the beginning they needed. The closed door becomes a new direction. The disappointment becomes a deeper dependence on me. The loss becomes the place where new growth begins. You may not understand it today, but trust me anyway. Trust me when the picture feels incomplete. Trust me when the path feels unclear. Trust me when the answers seem delayed. Trust me when your emotions try to convince you otherwise. Because my truth remains greater than your feelings. Your feelings are real, but they are not always accurate. Fear may say you are alone. You are not alone. Failure may say your story is finished. Your story is not finished. Disappointment may say nothing good is coming. That is not true. I am still working. I am still leading. I am still opening doors. I am still preparing blessings. I am still making a way, even now, especially now. So today, I want you to stop asking, what have I lost? And start asking, what has God preserved? What strength remains? What faith remains? What opportunities remain? What relationships remain? What purpose remains? What blessings remain? Because when you begin noticing what remains, gratitude begins to grow. And gratitude changes the atmosphere of the heart. Gratitude reminds you that my goodness, did not disappear. Gratitude reminds you that my faithfulness continues. Gratitude reminds you that even in difficult seasons, I remain present. Today, choose gratitude. Not because everything is perfect, but because I am still faithful. Choose hope. Not because every answer has arrived, but because I am still working. Choose trust. Not because every question is resolved, but because I remain worthy of trust. If these words are speaking to your heart today, type "I choose hope" in the comments below. Let that declaration become a reminder that your future is still in my hands. And remember this truth before you leave. You may have lost some things along the way, but you have not lost me. And as long as I am with you, your story still contains purpose, promise, and possibility. Come closer. Take a deep breath. Slow down for a moment, because there is something I want to free you from today. The exhausting belief that you must have everything figured out before you can move forward. Many of you are tired because you keep demanding certainty from a future that has not arrived yet. You want every answer before you take the next step. You want every detail before you trust me. You want every question resolved before you rest. You want complete understanding before you surrender. And because those answers have not come, you remain stuck between fear and faith. But listen carefully. You were never meant to know everything. You were never meant to see every turn in the road. You were never meant to carry the knowledge of tomorrow. That responsibility belongs to me. Think about how much of your anxiety comes from trying to solve problems that do not even exist yet. Think about how many hours have been spent worrying about situations that never happened. Think about how much energy has been consumed by imaginary disasters. The mind can become trapped in a cycle of prediction, always preparing, always calculating, always anticipating, always fearing. But that is not the life I designed for you. I designed you for trust. I designed you for relationship. I designed you to walk with me one step at a time. Not 20 years ahead, not 10 years ahead, not even 1 year ahead. One step at a time. My child, there is a reason I rarely reveal the entire path. If I showed you every challenge ahead, you might become discouraged. If I showed you every blessing ahead, you might become distracted. If I showed you everything at once, you might depend on information instead of depending on me. So I give you enough light for the next step. Then the next, then the next. This is how faith grows. Faith is not trusting when you can see everything. Faith is trusting when you can only see enough for today. Many of my children believe that uncertainty is the enemy. But uncertainty is often the place where trust is born. When everything is predictable, people often rely on themselves. When everything is clear, people often rely on their own understanding. But when the path becomes uncertain, hearts begin searching for me. And in that searching, many discover a deeper relationship than they have ever known. Think about the moments when you grew the most. Were they the moments when everything was easy? Were they the moments when everything made sense? Usually not. Growth often happens during seasons of uncertainty. Growth often happens during seasons of waiting. Growth often happens during seasons where you must trust before you understand. That is why I do not waste uncertain seasons. I use them. I use them to teach dependence. I use them to strengthen faith. I use them to deepen character. I use them to draw hearts closer to me. Some of you are carrying questions today. Questions about your future. Questions about your family. Questions about your purpose. Questions about relationships. Questions about finances. Questions about health. Questions about doors that remain closed. Questions about prayers that remain unanswered. And because you do not have the answers, fear keeps trying to fill the silence. Fear always rushes to occupy spaces where trust has not yet settled. Fear says the worst will happen. Fear says nothing will work out. Fear says you are alone. Fear says there is no hope. But fear does not know what I know. Fear cannot see what I see. Fear cannot predict what I have already prepared. There are blessings ahead that fear knows nothing about. There are opportunities ahead that fear cannot imagine. There are answers ahead that fear cannot see. There are breakthroughs ahead that fear cannot understand. That is why you must stop allowing fear to narrate your future. Fear has never written your story. I have, and I am a better author than your fears. Remember how many times you worried in the past. Remember how many scenarios your mind created. Remember how many outcomes you feared. How many of those fears actually happened. And even when difficult things did happen, did I not sustain you? Did I not strengthen you? Did I not provide for you? Did I not carry you through? The evidence of my faithfulness already exists throughout your life. Look back, and you will see it. There were moments when you thought there was no way forward, yet a way appeared. There were moments when you thought you would break, yet strength arrived. There were moments when you thought hope was gone, yet hope returned. Again and again, season after season, year after year, I have been faithful. Why would I stop now? I am not faithful only during easy seasons. I am faithful during difficult ones too. I am not faithful only when answers are visible. I am faithful when answers remain hidden. I am not faithful only when prayers are quickly answered. I am faithful during waiting seasons as well. My character does not change. My love does not change. My promises do not change. And because I do not change, you can trust me even when life feels uncertain. Today, I want you to release your need to know everything. Release the pressure. Release the demand for complete understanding. Release the expectation that you must solve every mystery. And instead, focus on one thing. Stay close to me. Because the safest place is not complete knowledge. The safest place is my presence. The strongest foundation is not certainty about tomorrow. The strongest foundation is trust in the one who already stands in tomorrow. I am already there. I am already working. I am already preparing. I am already making a way. You do not have to see it all. You only have to keep walking with me. If these words are speaking to your heart today, type "I trust God with my future" in the comments below. Let that declaration become stronger than your fears. And remember this before you leave. You do not need all the answers to move forward. You only need to stay close to the one who already knows them. Come closer and listen carefully. Because there is something your heart needs to remember today. You have spent too much time measuring the size of the storm, too much time calculating the strength of the wind, too much time studying the waves, too much time staring at the darkness, and not enough time remembering who is standing with you in the middle of it all. I know the storm feels real. I know the pressure feels heavy. I know the uncertainty feels uncomfortable. I know there are moments when fear tries to convince you that this situation is bigger than you can handle. But hear me clearly. The storm may be real. The challenge may be real. The obstacle may be real. But none of them are greater than me. Many people spend so much energy asking, "How big is my problem?" when the better question is, "How great is my God?" Because the answer to that question changes everything. A storm looks different when viewed from a boat than it does from above the clouds. Inside the storm, all you see is chaos. Above the storm, you see perspective. You have been looking at your situation from inside the waves. I see it from eternity. You see today's struggle. I see tomorrow's victory. You see the obstacle. I see the solution. You see the delay. I see the timing. You see the battle. I see the outcome. That is why I keep asking you to trust me, not because I expect blind obedience, but because I see what you cannot see. There are people listening right now who feel surrounded by financial pressure, surrounded by family concerns, surrounded by uncertainty, surrounded by questions, surrounded by fear, and every day it feels like another wave hits the side of the boat. One more challenge, one more disappointment, one more concern, one more burden. And your heart has begun asking, Lord, how much more can I take? Listen carefully. You do not have to carry the storm. You only have to stay in my presence while the storm passes. The burden was never yours. The battle is not yours alone. The future is not yours to control. I have not asked you to become stronger than the storm. I have asked you to remain close to me. My child, some of the strongest people you admire are not strong because they avoided storms. They are strong because they discovered me inside them. Anyone can trust when life is easy. Anyone can praise when everything is working. Anyone can smile when every prayer is immediately answered. But faith becomes real when you trust me while questions remain. Faith becomes deep when you trust me during uncertainty. Faith becomes mature when you trust me through waiting. That kind of faith cannot be learned from comfort alone. It grows during difficult seasons. It grows when you keep walking, even when you do not understand. It grows when you keep praying, even when answers seem delayed. It grows when you keep believing, even when circumstances say otherwise. And that is exactly what I am developing in many of you right now. Not because I enjoy seeing you struggle, but because I see who you are becoming. A tree with shallow roots may look impressive for a season, but the first major storm exposes what lies beneath. A tree with deep roots survives because its strength is hidden below the surface. Right now, I am growing roots inside many of my children. Roots of trust, roots of patience, roots of endurance, roots of faith. The process may feel slow. The growth may be invisible. But the results will remain long after the storm passes. Some of you have been asking me to remove the storm. Meanwhile, I have been teaching you how to stand in it. Some of you have been asking me to change the circumstances. Meanwhile, I have been changing you. Some of you have been asking for immediate answers. Meanwhile, I have been building lasting strength. Do not mistake my work for my absence. Just because I am working differently than you expected does not mean I am not working. I have never abandoned a single one of my children. Not one. There has never been a moment when I lost sight of you. Never a moment when I stopped caring. Never a moment when I stopped working. Never a moment when I stopped loving you. Even during the seasons when you felt alone, even during the nights when you cried, even during the days when confusion filled your heart, I was there, I am here, and I will remain. The storm cannot remove my presence. The storm cannot cancel my promises. The storm cannot change my love for you. The storm cannot rewrite your future. Only I hold that authority. And I am still writing your story. There are chapters ahead you have not yet seen. There are blessings ahead you cannot yet imagine. There are moments of joy ahead that will make sense of things that currently confuse you. There are answers ahead that will reveal my faithfulness in ways you cannot yet understand. So do not quit in the middle of the storm. Do not abandon hope. Do not surrender your faith. Do not let fear become louder than my voice. Instead, remember who is in the boat with you. Remember who controls the wind. Remember who speaks to the waves. Remember who holds tomorrow. Remember who has carried you this far. And remember who promises never to leave you. I do not promise that storms will never come, but I do promise that you will never face them alone. That promise remains true today. That promise remains true tomorrow. That promise remains true forever. If these words are speaking directly to your heart, type, "God is greater than my storm" in the comments below. Let that declaration become stronger than the fear trying to steal your peace. And remember this truth before you leave. The storm may be around you, but it is not stronger than the one who is holding you. Be still for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let the pressure leave your mind for these next few minutes. Because there is something I need you to understand. Something that could completely change the way you see your current season. Many of you have been calling something a delay when it is actually protection. You have been calling something rejection when it is actually direction. You have been calling something absence when it is actually preparation. And because of that misunderstanding, discouragement has found a place inside your heart. You have asked me questions. Lord, why has this not happened yet? Lord, why did that door close? Lord, why did that opportunity disappear? Lord, why am I still waiting? I have heard every question. I have heard every prayer. I have heard every cry. And today I want you to know this. Just because something has not happened according to your timeline does not mean I have stopped working. I am working even when you cannot see it. I am moving even when you cannot feel it. I am preparing even when nothing appears to be changing. Think about how often you have looked back on your life and realized that what felt disappointing at the time eventually became a blessing. The job you did not get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that disappeared, the plan that failed, the path that closed. At the time, you were hurt. At the time, you were confused. At the time, you did not understand. But later, you saw what I saw. Later, you understood why that door could not remain open. Later, you recognized the danger I protected you from. Later, you saw how my hand guided you towards something better. The same thing is happening right now. You simply have not reached the later part yet. My child, I need you to stop assuming that every closed door is bad news. Some doors close because they are meant to. Some opportunities disappear because they are not aligned with your purpose. Some relationships end because they cannot go where I am taking you. Some delays exist because the timing is not ready. I see the entire road. You only see the next turn. Imagine a child sitting in the passenger seat of a car. The child sees a red light and becomes frustrated. The child does not understand why the car has stopped. The child only sees delay. But the driver sees traffic. The driver sees danger. The driver sees timing. The driver understands things the child cannot yet understand. In many ways, that is where some of you are today. You see a red light. I see the entire intersection. You see a delay. I see protection. You see frustration. I see purpose. You see waiting. I see preparation. That is why trust matters so much. Trust allows you to rest while I handle what you cannot see. Trust allows you to breathe while I arrange what you cannot arrange. Trust allows you to move forward even when complete understanding has not arrived. Many of my children are exhausted because they keep demanding explanations for everything. They want every answer immediately. They want every mystery solved. They want every detail revealed. But faith does not grow through explanation. Faith grows through relationship. A child does not need to understand everything about a loving father to trust him. The child simply learns the father's character. The child learns the father's heart. The child learns the father's faithfulness, and trust begins to grow. That is what I am inviting you into. Not complete understanding. Deeper trust. Trust that my timing is wiser than yours. Trust that my perspective is greater than yours. Trust that my plans reach further than yours. Trust that my love for you remains constant. There are things I am arranging behind the scenes that you cannot yet see, conversations you know nothing about, opportunities that have not yet appeared, people I am positioning, circumstances I am aligning, answers I am preparing. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted, nothing is beyond my control. Even the delays that frustrate you are being used for a purpose. I know that can be difficult to believe, especially when you are tired, especially when you are waiting, especially when you are hurting. But my faithfulness is not dependent on your emotions. My faithfulness remains true whether you feel it or not. The sun continues to shine even when clouds cover it. Likewise, my goodness continues even when circumstances make it difficult to see. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not standing outside of my plan. You are not behind schedule. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are exactly where I can reach you. Exactly where I can guide you. Exactly where I can continue shaping your story. One day you will look back on this season and realize that what felt like delay was often protection. What felt like silence was often preparation. What felt like confusion was often guidance. What felt like waiting was often growth. And when that day comes, your trust will become even deeper. Until then, keep walking, keep praying, keep trusting, keep believing. Not because every answer has arrived, but because I remain faithful. And faithfulness is who I am. If these words are speaking to your heart today, type, "I trust God's timing," in the comments below. Let that declaration remind you that my schedule is not working against you. It is working for you. And if you have stayed with me this far, continue watching until the very end. The truths in this journey are not just encouragement for today. They are lessons that can strengthen your faith, calm your fears, deepen your trust, and help you stand firm when future storms arrive. What you learn here can change the way you walk through every season of life. Remember this truth before you leave. What feels like a delay to you may be my way of protecting, preparing, and positioning you for something greater than you can currently see. Come closer. Quiet your thoughts for a moment. Let the rush of the day fade into the background. Because there is something I want you to remember. Something fear has been trying to make you forget. You have survived more than you realize. You have walked through valleys you once thought would destroy you. You have endured seasons you once believed would break you. You have faced battles that looked impossible. You have stood in places where the future seemed uncertain. And yet here you are, still breathing, still moving, still growing, still listening, still standing. That is not an accident. That is evidence. Evidence of my faithfulness. Evidence of my presence. Evidence of my sustaining power. Many of my children spend so much time worrying about what might happen tomorrow that they forget what I already brought them through yesterday. They remember the pain. They remember the struggle. They remember the fear. But they forget the victory. They forget the strength. They forget the provision. They forget the miracles. Today, I want you to look back differently. Not to live in the past. Not to stay trapped there. But to recognize the fingerprints of my faithfulness across your journey. Remember the situation that kept you awake at night. The one you thought would never change. The one that felt impossible. You survived it. Remember the season when you thought you had reached your limit. The season when your heart felt heavy. The season when your strength felt gone. You survived it. Remember the disappointment that left you questioning everything. Remember the loss that left you grieving. Remember the uncertainty that left you confused. You survived it. Not because you were strong enough by yourself. Not because you had all the answers. Not because everything worked out perfectly. You survived because I carried you. Even when you could not feel my hand. Even when you could not understand my plan. Even when you questioned my timing. I was carrying you. My child, there are moments in life when the journey becomes so difficult that people stop noticing their own growth. They focus on the struggle. They focus on the challenge. They focus on the obstacle. Meanwhile, they overlook the strength being developed inside them. You are stronger than you were before. Not because life became easier, because you learned to keep walking when life became difficult. You are wiser than before. Not because you know everything, because experience taught you what books never could. You are deeper than before. Not because every prayer was answered immediately, because waiting taught you dependence. There are lessons you learned in the valley that you never would have learned on the mountaintop. There are truths you discovered in hardship that comfort could never teach. There are parts of my character you encountered during storms that calm seasons never revealed. Nothing was wasted. Not your tears, not your prayers, not your waiting, not your pain, not your questions. I used every part of it. Even now, I am using this season. Some of you are listening while carrying concerns about your future. You wonder how everything will work out. You wonder whether the answer will arrive. You wonder whether the breakthrough will come. You wonder whether things will improve. And fear keeps pointing toward the uncertainty ahead. But I want you to look at the evidence behind you. Look at how many times I have already provided. Look at how many times I have already guided. Look at how many times I have already protected. Look at how many times I have already made a way. Why would I stop now? Have I changed? Have my promises changed? Has my love changed? Has my power changed? No. I remain exactly who I have always been. The same God who carried you before is carrying you now. The same God who opened doors before can open doors again. The same God who healed before can heal again. The same God who restored before can restore again. The same God who strengthened you before can strengthen you again. You do not need a new God for this season. You simply need to remember the one who has already been faithful. Many people wait for confidence to arrive before they trust me, but confidence often grows after remembering my faithfulness. Remembering changes perspective. Remembering changes expectation. Remembering changes the way you view the future. Because when you remember what I have already done, it becomes easier to trust what I will do next. That does not mean there will never be challenges. There will. That does not mean there will never be storms. There will. That does not mean there will never be difficult seasons. There will. But it does mean you will never face them alone. And that changes everything. You are not walking toward an unknown future by yourself. You are walking with me, the one who already stands in tomorrow, the one who already sees the outcome, the one who already knows the way, the one who already holds the answer. Today, I want you to stop measuring your future by your fear. Instead, measure your future by my faithfulness. Fear says, what if everything goes wrong? Faith asks, what if God remains faithful like he always has? And the answer is simple. I will. I always will. Because faithfulness is not merely something I do. Faithfulness is who I am. So when fear comes, remember. When anxiety rises, remember. When uncertainty appears, remember. When doubt whispers, remember. Remember the prayers I answered. Remember the doors I opened. Remember the strength I provided. Remember the ways I carried you. Remember the victories you survived to reach. Because remembrance is one of the strongest weapons against fear. If these words are speaking directly into your heart today, type, God has carried me this far, in the comments below. Let those words become a testimony. Let those words become a reminder. Let those words become a declaration of faith. And remember this truth before you leave. You have survived more than you realize. And the same God who carried you through every previous season is carrying you through this one as well. Come closer. Slow your breathing. Let your heart become still for a moment, because there is something I need you to hear today, something your fear has been trying to hide from you. The answer is not as far away as it feels. I know there are moments when you look at your situation and wonder if anything is changing. You pray, you wait, you hope, you trust. And yet the circumstances around you seem exactly the same. The door still appears closed. The challenge still appears present. The burden still feels heavy. The answer still feels distant. And because nothing visible has changed, you begin to wonder if anything is happening at all. But listen carefully. Not all progress is visible. Not all movement can be seen. Not all answers arrive with immediate evidence. Some of the greatest things I do begin beneath the surface, long before human eyes can recognize them. A seed beneath the soil looks unchanged for a long time, yet roots are growing. Life is forming. Strength is developing. Preparation is happening. The seed does not see it. The people walking past do not see it. But growth is occurring. And then one day what was invisible becomes visible. What was hidden becomes obvious. What seemed inactive reveals itself as progress all along. Many of you are standing in that kind of season. You think nothing is happening, but I am working beneath the surface. You think the answer is distant, but I am already preparing it. You think the breakthrough is delayed, but I am already moving pieces into place. My child, one of the enemy's favorite strategies is convincing people that because they cannot see progress, there is no progress. Because if he can make you believe that, he can make you lose hope. And if he can make you lose hope, he can make you stop expecting. My goodness. But hope does not depend on visible evidence. Hope depends on trust. Trust that I am working. Trust that I am listening. Trust that I am moving. Trust that I am faithful, even when you cannot see it. Especially when you cannot see it. Think about how often I have worked in your life before you recognized my hand. How many times did I solve problems before you knew they existed? How many times did I redirect your path before danger arrived? How many times did I provide answers before you even asked the question? How many times did I protect you without announcing it? More times than you realize. Far more times. You see only a small portion of your story. I see every chapter. I see every detail. I see every connection. I see every possibility. I see every outcome. That is why I ask you to trust me. Not because I want blind obedience, but because I see what you cannot. There are people listening today who feel like giving up. You are tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of believing, tired of wondering when things will change. And part of you wants to stop expecting anything at all, because disappointment feels safer than hope. But hear me clearly. Do not give up now. Do not stop believing now. Do not stop trusting now. You have come too far to surrender your faith in the middle of the journey. The breakthrough may not be visible yet, but that does not mean it is not coming. The answer may not have arrived yet, but that does not mean it is not moving toward you. The door may not be open yet, but that does not mean I have forgotten where it is. Remember this. When you cannot see my hand, trust my heart. When you cannot trace my plan, trust my character. When you cannot understand my timing, trust my wisdom, because my character remains constant. My love remains constant. My faithfulness remains constant. There has never been a moment when I stopped caring for you. Never a moment. Not during your best days, not during your worst days, not during your victories, not during your failures, not during your seasons of confidence, not during your seasons of doubt. I have remained near, closer than you realize. Many people keep searching for dramatic signs while overlooking quiet evidence. The fact that you are still standing is evidence. The fact that you are still believing is evidence. The fact that you are still praying is evidence. The fact that you are still moving forward is evidence. I have sustained you this far, and I will continue. Do not underestimate the power of persistence. Do not underestimate the strength of continuing to trust. Do not underestimate what happens when a heart refuses to quit. Because many breakthroughs occur just beyond the point where people are tempted to stop. Many answers arrive after people are tempted to walk away. Many victories appear after people are tempted to surrender. Keep going. Keep trusting. Keep praying. Keep believing. One step at a time. One day at a time. One prayer at a time. One act of faith at a time. That is enough. You do not need to carry the entire future today. You only need enough grace for today. And I will provide it. I always do. Some of you have been asking for strength, and I am giving it. Some of you have been asking for wisdom, and I am providing it. Some of you have been asking for direction, and I am guiding you. Some of you have been asking for peace, and I am offering it. Receive what I am giving instead of focusing only on what has not arrived yet. Because my provision often begins before my answer becomes visible. Today I want you to trust that what I am doing behind the scenes is just as important as what you can see in front of you. Trust that my silence is not absence. Trust that my delay is not rejection. Trust that my timing remains perfect. Trust that my plans remain good. Trust that my love remains unshaken. If these words are speaking to your heart today, type, "God is working behind the scenes," in the comments below. Let that declaration remind you that even when nothing appears to be changing, heaven is still moving on your behalf. And remember this truth before you leave: the answer is not as far away as it feels. Because I am already working in places your eyes cannot yet see. Come closer. Be still for a moment. Let the noise settle. Let the fear quiet down. Let the pressure ease from your shoulders. Because there is something I want you to understand today. Many of you believe you are standing far away from the answer, far away from the breakthrough, far away from the healing, far away from the provision, far away from the change you have been praying for. But what if you are closer than you realize? What if the very thing you have been asking me for is already moving toward you? What if the season you are standing in is not the end of the story, but the final stretch before a new chapter begins? The enemy wants you to believe that nothing is changing. The enemy wants you to believe that your prayers are ineffective. The enemy wants you to believe that your waiting has been pointless. The enemy wants you to believe that hope is foolish. Because hopeless people stop expecting, and people who stop expecting often stop seeing. But I want you to remember something. I am always working. Not sometimes. Not occasionally. Always. Even when you sleep. Even when you doubt. Even when you cry. Even when you feel discouraged. Even when you cannot see a single sign of progress. I am still working. My child, some of the greatest miracles recorded in history looked impossible right before they happened. The sea looked impossible before it parted. The walls looked impossible before they fell. The giant looked impossible before he was defeated. The tomb looked impossible before it was opened. Again and again, people stood in front of situations that appeared hopeless. Again and again, I revealed that what seems impossible to humans is not impossible for me. That truth has not changed. The same power that worked then still works now. The same authority that moved mountains still moves mountains. The same God who opened doors before still opens doors today. You are not serving a God of the past. You are walking with a living God, a present God, an active God, a faithful God. Sometimes the greatest obstacle between you and peace is not your situation. It is your perspective. You keep looking at what is wrong. You keep focusing on what has not happened. You keep measuring your future through today's limitations. But I am not limited by today's circumstances. I am not limited by today's obstacles. I am not limited by today's resources. I am not limited by today's opinions. I am not limited by anything. The situation that appears impossible to you is completely visible to me. The answer that seems complicated to you is already understood by me. The path that seems hidden to you is already known by me. That is why I keep inviting you to trust, not because trust changes me. Trust changes you. Trust allows your heart to rest. Trust allows your spirit to breathe. Trust allows peace to replace panic. Trust allows hope to remain alive during difficult seasons. There are people listening right now who have become weary. You are tired of carrying expectations, tired of carrying disappointments, tired of carrying unanswered questions, tired of carrying fear. And because of that exhaustion, you have begun lowering your expectations. You tell yourself not to hope too much, not to believe too much, not to expect too much. because disappointment feels painful. But listen carefully. Guarding yourself from disappointment is not the same thing as living by faith. Faith continues believing. Faith continues trusting. Faith continues expecting. My goodness. Not because circumstances are perfect, but because my character remains perfect. There are blessings ahead that you cannot yet see. There are answers ahead that have not yet arrived. There are moments ahead that will make today's confusion understandable. There are victories ahead that will remind you why you kept going. Do not allow temporary discouragement to make permanent decisions. Do not quit because the answer feels delayed. Do not abandon hope because the breakthrough is not visible. Do not stop praying because the door has not opened yet. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Because the story is not finished. And as long as the story is not finished, possibility remains. I know there are days when your emotions feel stronger than your faith. Days when fear feels louder than hope. Days when uncertainty feels larger than trust. That does not make you a failure. That makes you human. Bring those emotions to me. Bring the fear. Bring the doubts. Bring the questions. Bring the weariness. Bring the frustration. Bring all of it. I am not intimidated by your honesty. I already know what is inside your heart, and I love you anyway. In fact, many of the people who experienced my greatest faithfulness first brought me their deepest fears. They did not arrive perfect. They arrived honest. Do the same. Come as you are. Trust me with what you feel. Trust me with what you fear. Trust me with what you cannot understand. And then keep moving forward. One step at a time. One prayer at a time. One day at a time. That is enough. You do not need to see the entire staircase. You only need enough light for the next step. And I will provide it. I always have. I always will. One day you will look back on this season and realize that I was far more active than you imagined. You will see prayers being answered in ways you never expected. You will see protection hidden inside delays. You will see blessings hidden inside disappointments. You will see my hand guiding you through moments that once felt confusing. And when that day comes, your faith will become stronger than ever before. Until then, keep trusting me. Keep standing. Keep believing. Keep expecting. My goodness. Because I am still writing your story. If these words are speaking directly to your heart today, type, "My breakthrough is coming," in the comments below. Let that declaration remind your soul that hope is not finished and neither is your story. And remember this truth before you leave. Just because you cannot see the breakthrough yet does not mean it is not getting closer. I am working, I am moving, and I am making a way. Come closer. Take a deep breath. Let your heart settle for a moment, because there is something I need to gently show you today. Many of you are exhausted, not because of what happened today. You are exhausted because of what might happen tomorrow. You are carrying fears that have not happened. You are carrying problems that do not yet exist. You are carrying battles that have not yet arrived. You are carrying worries that belong to another day. And all of that weight is draining your strength. My child, I never asked you to live in tomorrow. I created you to live in today. Think about how much of your peace gets stolen by imaginary futures. You imagine what could go wrong. You imagine what people might say. You imagine doors closing. You imagine failure. You imagine loss. You imagine disappointment. And before anything has even happened, your heart is already carrying the burden. The mind begins creating storms. The heart begins preparing for disasters. The body begins responding as if the danger is already present. Yet many of those fears never arrive. Many of those worries never happen. Many of those imagined outcomes never become reality. Still, they steal your peace. Still, they consume your energy. Still, they distract you from my presence. I want you to understand something important. Fear loves the future. Faith lives in the present. Fear constantly asks, "What if?" What if I fail? What if things get worse? What if nobody helps me? What if I lose what I love? What if the answer never comes? Fear survives on questions, but faith responds differently. Faith asks, what if God remains faithful? What if I am not alone? What if God is already making a way? What if God sees what I cannot see? What if God is working behind the scenes? What if God is preparing something greater? Do you see the difference? The future changes depending on who is telling the story. Fear tells one version, faith tells another. And today I want you to stop allowing fear to narrate your future, because fear has never known my plans. Fear has never seen my purpose. Fear has never understood my timing. Fear has never witnessed the entire picture. Yet many people trust fear more than they trust me. They listen to every warning, every worry, every anxious prediction, every dark possibility. And before long, fear becomes the loudest voice in the room. But fear is not your shepherd. I am. Fear is not your provider. I am. Fear is not your protector. I am. Fear is not your future. I am holding your future. There are people listening today who have spent months worrying about something that has not happened. Some have spent years doing it. The mind runs ahead. The imagination creates scenarios. The heart becomes overwhelmed, and eventually, exhaustion follows. Not because life is impossible, but because you are trying to live in days that have not arrived. I never promised grace for next year today. I promise grace for today. I never promise strength for problems that do not exist yet. I promise strength for the moment you need it. I never promised answers for every future question. I promised my presence. And my presence is enough. Think about the Israelites gathering manna in the wilderness. Each day they received enough. Not enough for a year. Not enough for a lifetime. Enough for that day. Why? Because dependence grows one day at a time. Trust grows one day at a time. Faith grows one day at a time. You keep asking for tomorrow's strength while standing in today's grace. Receive today's grace first. Walk through today's assignment first. Trust me with today's challenges first. Tomorrow will arrive when it arrives. And when it does, I will already be there. I am not waiting in the future. I already stand there. The thing that scares you is already known by me. The challenge that concerns you is already visible to me. The obstacle you fear is already understood by me. Nothing surprises me. Nothing catches me off guard. Nothing arrives outside my awareness. That means you do not need to panic. You do not need to rush. You do not need to carry the future on your shoulders, because the future is already resting in my hands. My child, there is freedom in this truth. Freedom from constant worry. Freedom from endless prediction. Freedom from trying to control everything. Freedom from carrying responsibilities that belong to me. Many people think surrender is weakness, but surrender is actually trust. Surrender says, God, I cannot see tomorrow, but you can. Surrender says, God, I do not know every answer, but you do. Surrender says, God, I release what I cannot control. And when surrender happens, peace begins to grow. Not because every problem disappears, but because the burden changes shoulders. The burden leaves yours and moves to mine, and I can carry what you cannot. Today, I want you to practice something. When fear starts describing tomorrow, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself one question. Has that happened yet? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Then bring that future concern back to today. Bring it back into my presence. Bring it back into trust. Bring it back into faith. Because worrying about tomorrow never improves tomorrow. It only steals today. And today is a gift. Today is where my grace is. Today is where my presence is. Today is where your faith grows. Today is where your peace can be found. So stop borrowing trouble from days that have not arrived. Stop carrying burdens from a future you cannot see. Stop allowing fear to write stories that I never wrote. Instead, trust me. Walk with me. Stay close to me. One day at a time. One step at a time. One prayer at a time. That is enough. If these words are speaking directly to your heart today, type, "I release tomorrow to God," in the comments below. Let that declaration become a reminder that your future is safer in my hands than it ever could be in your worries. And remember this truth before you leave. You do not need tomorrow's answers to have peace today. You only need to trust the one who is already waiting for you there. Come closer. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Let your thoughts settle for a moment. Because today, I want to remind you of something that fear has been trying to make you forget. The foundation beneath your feet has never moved. Many things in your life have changed. People have changed. Circumstances have changed. Plans have changed. Seasons have changed. Your emotions have changed. Your understanding has changed. Even your dreams have changed. But through all those changes, there has been one thing that remained exactly the same. Me. Before your struggle began, I was faithful. During your struggle, I remained faithful. After your struggle ends, I will still be faithful. My character does not shift with circumstances. My love does not weaken when challenges appear. My promises do not expire when life becomes difficult. I remain. And that truth is more important than many of you realize. Because most of your anxiety comes from trusting things that can change. You trust what can be lost. You trust what can fail. You trust what can leave. You trust what can break. Then when those things begin to shake, fear enters your heart. But what if your confidence was rooted somewhere deeper? What if your peace came from something unchanging? What if your identity rested on something eternal? Everything would feel different. My child, there are people listening right now who have spent years building their sense of security on temporary foundations. Some built their confidence on success. Others built it on money. Others built it on relationships. Others built it on health. Others built it on approval. Others built it on comfort. None of those things are evil. None of those things are worthless. But none of them were designed to carry the full weight of your soul. A paycheck can support a budget, but it cannot support your identity. A relationship can bring companionship, but it cannot become your foundation. Success can be rewarding, but it cannot become your source of worth. Health is a blessing, but it cannot become your ultimate security. Only I can hold that place. Only I can carry that weight. Only I can remain unchanged when everything else shifts. That is why I keep inviting you back to me. Not because I need your attention, because you need stability. You need something deeper than circumstances. You need something stronger than emotions. You need something greater than temporary success. You need bedrock, and I am that bedrock. Think about the storms that have already passed through your life. Some arrived without warning. Some stayed longer than expected. Some left scars. Some brought lessons. Some changed you forever. Yet the foundation beneath you remained. You felt afraid, but the foundation remained. You felt confused, but the foundation remained. You felt uncertain, but the foundation remained. You felt weak, but the foundation remained. That foundation was me. Even when you did not realize it, even when you doubted it, even when you questioned everything, I was still holding you. Many people imagine strength as never struggling, never doubting, never feeling afraid, never needing help. But that is not true strength. True strength is knowing where to stand. True strength is knowing where to place your trust. True strength is knowing who carries you. A building is not strong because it never faces storms. A building is strong because its foundation holds during storms. The same is true for your life. Your strength is not found in avoiding difficulty. Your strength is found in standing on me during difficulty. That is why some people survive seasons that should have destroyed them. Not because they are extraordinary, because their foundation is. And I want that truth to settle deeply into your heart today. You do not need to become stronger than every challenge. You simply need to remain connected to the one who already is. You do not need to carry the future. You simply need to trust the one who holds it. You do not need to understand everything. You simply need to stay close to me. That is enough. It has always been enough. The enemy wants you to focus on everything that is changing. The economy changes, people change, opinions change, circumstances change, opportunities change, health changes. But I want you to focus on what remains. My love remains. My mercy remains. My promises remain. My faithfulness remains. My presence remains. And because I remain, hope remains. Peace remains. Purpose remains. Possibility remains. Some of you have been standing on unstable ground for so long that stability feels unfamiliar. You have become accustomed to worry, accustomed to fear, accustomed to pressure, accustomed to uncertainty. And now I am teaching you something different. I am teaching you how to rest. I am teaching you how to trust. I am teaching you how to stand on bedrock. The process may feel unfamiliar, but it is good. Because the more you learn to trust me, the less fear controls your life. The more you stand on my promises, the less you depend on temporary circumstances. The more you walk with me, the stronger your peace becomes. Not because life becomes perfect, because your foundation becomes deeper. Today, I want you to remember something simple. The thing you fear may happen tomorrow has not changed me. The thing you are worried about has not changed me. The challenge you face has not changed me. The uncertainty ahead has not changed me. I remain exactly who I have always been, and that means your foundation remains secure. If these words are speaking directly to your heart today, type "God is my rock" in the comments below. And if you have stayed with me through this journey, keep watching until the very end. These messages are not just encouragement for a single day. They are building a stronger foundation beneath your faith, helping you face challenges with peace, confidence, and trust. The truths you learn here can strengthen every area of your life if you continue applying them. Remember this truth before you leave. The world around you may change 1,000 times, but the foundation beneath you has never moved, and it never will. Come closer. Be still for a moment. Let your thoughts slow down. Let the noise around you fade. Because there is something I want to show you today. Many of you have been asking me for a sign that I am with you, a sign that I hear your prayers, a sign that I have not forgotten you, a sign that your future is secure, a sign that everything will be okay. And while you have been searching for signs, you have overlooked something greater. You have overlooked the fact that I have been holding you all along. My child, think about how many times you asked for strength. Then, a difficult season arrived, and somehow you made it through. Where did that strength come from? Think about how many times you thought you had reached your limit. How many times you felt completely overwhelmed. How many times you believed you could not take another step. Yet somehow another step came, and another, and another. And that was not an accident. That was me sustaining you. Many people expect my presence to feel dramatic. They expect thunder. They expect signs in the sky. They expect immediate miracles. Sometimes I work that way. But often my greatest miracles arrive quietly. A strength that appears when you need it. A peace that arrives during a difficult moment. A door opening at exactly the right time. A conversation that changes everything. A delay that protects you. A burden that suddenly becomes lighter. A hope that refuses to die. These are signs too. Yet because they are quiet, many people overlook them. Today, I want you to stop measuring my presence by dramatic experiences. Start measuring it by my faithfulness. Have I carried you this far? Then I am present. Have I sustained you through difficult seasons? Then I am present. Have I provided when you needed provision? Then I am present. Have I comforted you during painful moments? Then I am present. Have I remained faithful despite your doubts? Then I am present. You do not need a dramatic sign to prove what my faithfulness has already revealed. I have been with you. Every step, every season, every battle, every prayer, every tear, every victory, every disappointment, every waiting season. I have never left. I have never abandoned you. I have never stopped caring. I have never stopped working. The enemy wants you to believe that my presence depends on your feelings, that if you do not feel me, I must be distant, that if you do not understand me, I must be absent, that if your prayers are delayed, I must not be listening. None of those things are true. My presence is not determined by your emotions. My faithfulness is not determined by your circumstances. My love is not determined by your understanding. I remain who I am. Whether you feel strong or weak, whether you feel confident or afraid, whether you feel hopeful or discouraged, I remain. Some of you are in a season where you feel spiritually tired. You still believe, you still pray, you still trust, but you feel weary. The waiting has been long. The questions have been many. The answers have been slow, and part of you wonders if you have enough strength for another season. Listen carefully. You do not need strength for the entire future. You only need strength for today, and I will provide it. The same way I provided yesterday, the same way I provided before that, the same way I have always provided. One day at a time, one step at a time, one breath at a time. Many of my children become overwhelmed because they keep trying to carry tomorrow's burdens with today's strength. That was never the plan. Tomorrow's grace arrives tomorrow. Tomorrow's provision arrives tomorrow. Tomorrow's strength arrives tomorrow. Today's assignment is simply to trust me today. That is enough. You do not have to solve next month's problems. You do not have to answer next year's questions. You do not have to understand every future detail. You simply need to walk with me today. The path becomes clearer when you stop running ahead. The peace becomes stronger when you stop demanding certainty. The trust becomes deeper when you stop trying to control everything. I know that is difficult. I know your heart wants answers. I know your mind wants certainty. I know your emotions want reassurance. That is why I keep reminding you of the same truth. I am here. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Now. Right now. In this moment. In this season. In this situation. I am here. And because I am here, you are not alone. Because I am here, hope remains. Because I am here, peace remains available. Because I am here, your future remains secure. Because I am here, the story is not finished. There are still chapters ahead. There are still blessings ahead. There are still answers ahead. There are still moments that will reveal why this season mattered. Do not lose heart now. Do not quit now. Do not stop trusting now. You have come too far to surrender your faith. The same hand that carried you through every previous chapter is carrying you through this one, and that hand will not let go. Today, I want you to stop asking, Lord, where are you? And begin remembering where I have always been, beside you, before you, behind you, around you, holding you, guiding you, protecting you, loving you, faithfully, constantly, without interruption. If these words are speaking directly into your heart today, type God has been holding me in the comments below. Let those words become a testimony of my faithfulness in your life. And remember this truth before you leave. You may have been looking for a sign, but the greatest sign has been there all along. You are still standing, and I am still holding you. Come closer. Take a deep breath. Let your heart become still, because today I want to speak directly to the place inside you that has been afraid, the place you rarely show other people, the place where worries live, the place where unanswered questions echo, the place where fear keeps trying to build a home. I see that place, and I want you to hear me clearly. The thing you fear most is not greater than my power. The situation may look large, the challenge may seem overwhelming, the uncertainty may feel heavy, but none of it is greater than me. Not one part of it. Many of my children spend so much time studying their fears that they forget to study my faithfulness. They analyze every possible problem, every possible setback, every possible disappointment, every possible failure. And slowly, without realizing it, they begin treating fear like a prophet. They begin believing every warning fear gives them. They begin expecting disaster. They begin preparing for defeat. They begin imagining loss before loss arrives. But fear has never known your future. Fear has never written your story. Fear has never held your life in its hands. I have. My child, there are things you are afraid of right now that may never happen. And there are things that will happen that fear never predicted. Fear is a poor guide. It always has been. Because fear only sees limitations. I see possibilities. Fear sees obstacles. I see opportunities. Fear sees dead ends. I create pathways. Fear sees darkness. I create light. Fear sees impossibility. That is why I keep asking you to trust me instead of trusting your fears. Think about how many times fear has lied to you before. Fear told you that you would not survive, yet you did. Fear told you that everything was over, yet it was not. Fear told you that you were alone, yet I was with you. Fear told you that there was no way forward, yet a path appeared, again and again, year after year, season after season. Fear predicted defeat, and my faithfulness delivered you. Why should today be different? Why should this season be different? Why should this challenge be different? I have not changed, and because I have not changed, my power has not changed. My love has not changed. My promises have not changed. My ability to make a way has not changed. There are people listening right now who are carrying fears about their future. You are worried about finances. You are worried about family. You are worried about health. You are worried about opportunities. You are worried about situations you cannot control. And because you cannot control them, fear keeps trying to convince you that disaster is coming. But hear me carefully. You were never called to control everything. You were called to trust me. Control is not your assignment. Trust is. The more you try to control everything, the more exhausted you become, because you are attempting to carry responsibilities that belong to me. You are trying to sit in a seat that was never yours. You are trying to manage outcomes that only I can fully see. Release that burden. Lay it down. Give it to me. Not because the situation is small, because I am greater. Many people think courage means having no fear. That is not true. Courage means continuing to trust me while fear is present. Courage means taking another step while uncertainty remains. Courage means believing my promises even when circumstances disagree. That kind of courage grows through relationship. And that relationship grows every time you choose trust over fear. Every time you choose faith over panic. Every time you choose prayer over worry. Every time you choose my voice over the voice of anxiety. Little by little, your confidence grows. Little by little, your peace deepens. Little by little, your heart becomes steadier. Not because life becomes easier, because your trust becomes stronger. My child, some of the strongest believers are not people who avoided fear. They are people who learned not to obey it. They felt fear. They heard fear. They faced uncertainty, but they refused to let fear make their decisions. Instead, they trusted me, and I led them forward. I want the same for you. I do not want fear deciding your future. I do not want anxiety determining your choices. I do not want worry controlling your peace. I want you to walk in freedom. The freedom that comes from knowing I am with you. The freedom that comes from knowing I am faithful. The freedom that comes from knowing I am greater than every challenge you face. Because I am. I am greater than your doubts, greater than your worries, greater than your disappointments, greater than your failures, greater than your mistakes, greater than your fears, and certainly greater than the situation that is troubling your heart today. So stop measuring the size of the problem. Start remembering the size of your God. Stop focusing on the mountain. Start focusing on the one who created mountains. Stop listening to fear's predictions. Start listening to my promises, because my promises are stronger than your fears. My truth is stronger than your doubts. My peace is stronger than your anxiety. And my power is greater than anything standing in front of you. If these words are speaking directly to your heart today, type "God is greater than my fear" in the comments below. Let that declaration become stronger than every anxious thought trying to steal your peace. And remember this truth before you leave. The thing you fear most is not greater than my power, but my power is greater than anything you fear. Come closer. Slow your thoughts. Let your heart become quiet for a moment. Because there is something I want you to remember today. Something the pressures of life have tried to make you forget. You were never meant to walk this road alone. Never. Not for a single day. Not for a single battle. Not for a single season. From the beginning, my desire was always relationship. Not distance. Not separation. Not a life where you carried every burden by yourself. A life where you walked with me. Yet many of my children have learned to live as if they are alone. They pray, but then carry the burden themselves. They ask for guidance, but then depend entirely on their own understanding. They ask for peace, but then continue feeding their fears. They ask for strength, but then refuse to lean on mine. And because of this, they become exhausted. My child, there is a difference between carrying responsibilities and carrying burdens. Responsibilities help you move forward. Burdens weigh you down. Responsibilities can be managed. Burdens crush the soul. I never asked you to carry both. Many of you are carrying burdens that belong to me. You are carrying the outcome of situations. You are carrying other people's choices. You are carrying tomorrow's uncertainties. You are carrying fears about things beyond your control. And every day the load becomes heavier. That was never my design. Imagine a traveler walking a long road with a heavy backpack. The journey becomes harder with every mile. The shoulders begin to ache. The legs begin to weaken. The traveler becomes exhausted. Then a strong companion walks beside them and says, "Let me carry that for you." But the traveler refuses. Not because help is unavailable, because they have become accustomed to carrying the weight. Many of my children are living exactly like that. Help is available. Strength is available. Peace is available. Yet, they continue carrying what I am offering to lift. Today, I want you to stop resisting my help. Stop believing you must handle everything alone. Stop believing you must solve every problem before you can rest. Stop believing that your worth depends on how much weight you can carry. Your worth has never been measured by your burden. Your worth has always been measured by my love. And my love is not earned. It is given. Freely, completely, faithfully. Some of you have spent years trying to prove yourselves. Trying to prove your value. Trying to prove your strength. Trying to prove your importance. Trying to prove your usefulness. But hear me carefully. You do not need to prove anything to me. I already know who you are. I know your strengths. I know your weaknesses. I know your victories. I know your failures. I know your fears. I know your hopes. I know every chapter of your story. And I love you completely. Not because of what you accomplish. Not because of what you achieve. Not because of what others think about you. Because you are mine. My child, many of your deepest struggles begin when you forget that truth. When you start believing your value comes from performance. When you stop believing your identity comes from success. When you stop believing your peace comes from circumstances. The moment those things become your foundation, anxiety follows. Because everything temporary eventually shifts. Success shifts. Money shifts. Opinions shift. Relationships shift. Health shifts. Circumstances shift. But my love does not shift. My presence does not shift. My faithfulness does not shift. And that is where true security is found. There are people listening today who feel lonely, not because nobody is around them, but because nobody fully understands what they are carrying. You smile around others. You talk with others. You work alongside others. Yet inside, you feel isolated. You feel unseen. You feel misunderstood. You feel as though nobody truly knows the battle taking place within your heart. But I know. I understand. I see the struggle nobody else sees. I hear the prayers nobody else hears. I know the fears nobody else knows about. And I am not distant from them. I am near, closer than your next breath, closer than your own understanding, closer than you realize. The enemy wants isolation. Because isolation weakens people. Isolation magnifies fear. Isolation increases discouragement. Isolation makes problems appear larger than they are. That is why I keep calling you back into my presence. Because my presence reminds you that you are not alone. My presence reminds you that help is available. My presence reminds you that hope remains. My presence reminds you that the story is not over. Some of you have been fighting battles silently for too long. You have been trying to appear strong while feeling exhausted, trying to appear confident while feeling uncertain, trying to appear okay while carrying pain. Today, I want you to stop pretending before me. You do not need to impress me. You do not need to hide from me. You do not need to act stronger than you feel. Bring me the real version of your heart. Bring me the doubts. Bring me the fears. Bring me the disappointment. Bring me the questions. Bring me the weariness. Bring me everything. Because honesty opens doors that pretending never can. I already know what is inside you. The invitation is simply to let me carry it with you. Not tomorrow, today, not when life becomes easier, now. Because the burden becomes lighter when shared with me. The road becomes clearer when walked with me. The storm becomes less frightening when faced with me. The future becomes less overwhelming when trusted to me. You do not have to walk alone anymore. You never did. You never will. If these words are speaking directly to your heart today, type, "I am not alone," in the comments below. Let that declaration become stronger than every lie of isolation and fear. And remember, this truth before you leave, you were never meant to carry life by yourself. You were created to walk with me. And I am still walking beside you. Come closer. Sit with me for a moment. Let the rush of your thoughts slow down. Let the endless calculations pause. Let the worries loosen their grip. Because there is something I want to teach you today. Something that many people spend their entire lives trying to discover. The peace you are searching for is not found in control. It is found in surrender. Many of my children believe peace will arrive when everything finally makes sense. When every question has an answer. When every problem has a solution. When every uncertainty disappears. When every prayer is answered. But if peace depends on perfect circumstances, peace will always remain out of reach, because life in this world will never be completely free of uncertainty. There will always be another challenge, another decision, another question, another season, another opportunity to worry. That is why peace cannot depend on circumstances. It must depend on something deeper. It must depend on me. My child, many of the burdens you carry today are not actually caused by your situation. They are caused by your attempt to control your situation. You keep trying to manage outcomes. You keep trying to predict every possibility. You keep trying to prepare for every problem. You keep trying to guarantee success. And because you cannot control everything, frustration grows, fear grows, anxiety grows, exhaustion grows. But what if you were never meant to control everything? What if you are only meant to trust me? Think about how much energy is spent trying to force things into place, trying to make people change, trying to make doors open, trying to make answers appear, trying to make the future feel certain, and all the while, I am standing beside you saying, let me carry what you cannot. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is wisdom. Surrender recognizes what belongs in your hands and what belongs in mine. There are things I have called you to do. Pray, trust, obey, love, forgive, remain faithful, take the next step. But there are also things that belong to me. The outcome belongs to me. The timing belongs to me. The future belongs to me. The breakthrough belongs to me. The provision belongs to me. The final result belongs to me. And when you try to carry what belongs to me, your soul becomes tired. My child, some of you have become so accustomed to carrying burdens that rest feels unfamiliar. You have lived in survival mode for so long that peace feels strange. You have worried for so many years that trust feels uncomfortable. You have carried pressure for so long that surrender feels risky. But listen carefully. The burden was never supposed to stay on your shoulders forever. I did not create you to live under constant pressure. I created you to walk with me, to depend on me, to lean on me, to trust me. The strongest people are not those who carry the most weight. The strongest people are those who know where to place it. Look throughout your life. Every season where you experienced the deepest peace came when you finally stopped fighting for control. When you finally said, Lord, I trust you. When you finally released what you could not change. When you finally surrendered what you could not understand. When you finally placed the future into my hands. That is where peace began growing. Not because the problem disappeared immediately, because the burden changed shoulders. The burden left yours and moved to mine. And I can carry what you cannot. There are people listening right now who desperately need this truth. You are trying to carry family situations you cannot control. You are trying to carry financial pressures you cannot solve overnight. You are trying to carry health concerns that frighten you. You are trying to carry future uncertainties that keep you awake. And little by little, the weight has become overwhelming. Today, I am asking you to release it. Not because it does not matter, because it matters enough for me to carry it. Bring me your fears. Bring me your questions. Bring me your frustrations. Bring me your disappointments. Bring me your weariness. Bring me everything. You do not need to clean yourself up first. You do not need perfect faith first. You do not need perfect understanding first. Just come. Just surrender. Just trust. Because surrender is not giving up. Surrender is giving over. Giving over control. Giving over fear. Giving over anxiety. Giving over outcomes. Giving over the things you were never meant to carry. And every time you do, peace grows a little deeper. Faith grows a little stronger. Rest becomes a little easier. My child, there is freedom waiting on the other side of surrender. Freedom from constant worry. Freedom from endless striving. Freedom from trying to be your own savior. Freedom from carrying burdens that belong to me. You were never created to be the foundation of your own life. You were created to stand on mine. That foundation has never failed. That foundation has never cracked. That foundation has never shifted. And it never will. So stop fighting battles that belong to me. Stop carrying weights that belong to me. Stop trying to force answers that belong to my timing. Instead, trust me. Walk with me. Rest in me. Remain close to me. Because the peace you keep chasing is not found at the end of perfect circumstances. It is found in surrendering those circumstances to me. If these words are speaking directly to your heart today, type, I surrender it, to God in the comments below. Let those words become more than a comment. Let them become a decision to trust me with what you cannot control. And remember this truth before you leave. The peace you have been searching for begins the moment you stop carrying what only God was meant to hold. Come closer. Stay here with me for a few moments. Let everything else wait. Let the unfinished tasks wait. Let the unanswered questions wait. Let the worries wait. Because before this journey ends, there is one final truth I want to place deep within your heart. The rock beneath you has never moved. Not once. Not during your hardest season. Not during your darkest night. Not during your greatest disappointment. Not during your deepest loss. Not during your longest wait. Not during your most painful question. The rock beneath you has never moved. And that rock is me. Many times you thought you were standing on your own strength, but you were not. Many times you thought your survival depended on your wisdom, but it did not. Many times you thought your future depended entirely on your efforts, but it never did. Even when you could not see me, even when you could not feel me, even when you questioned me, I was still underneath every step you took, holding you, sustaining you, protecting you, guiding you, loving you, faithfully, constantly, without interruption. My child, look back for a moment. Look at the road behind you. Look at the places where you almost gave up. Look at the moments when fear seemed stronger than faith. Look at the seasons when your heart was tired. Look at the times when you did not know how you would continue. And yet you did. Why? Because I was carrying what you could not see. You thought your strength was keeping you alive. It was my grace. You thought your determination was enough. It was my mercy. You thought you were holding everything together. But it was my hand holding you. The truth is this: you have never been as alone as fear told you. You have never been as abandoned as doubt suggested. You have never been as forgotten as anxiety claimed. I was there. I am here. And I will remain. That is why your future does not need to frighten you. The same God who stood beside you yesterday is already standing in your tomorrow. The same God who protected you before is protecting you now. The same God who opened doors before can open them again. The same God who healed before can heal again. The same God who restored before can restore again. The same God who carried you before is carrying you still. You do not need a new foundation for the next season. You already have one. You do not need a stronger rock. You already stand on one. You do not need a different God for tomorrow's challenges. I am enough. I have always been enough. I will always be enough. Some of you are listening right now while carrying burdens that nobody knows about. You smile. You keep moving. You continue showing up. But deep inside, you feel tired. Tired of carrying pressure. Tired of carrying uncertainty. Tired of carrying responsibilities. Tired of carrying fears. Hear me carefully. You do not have to keep carrying them alone. You never did. The invitation has always been the same. Come to me. Bring me the burden. Bring me the fear. Bring me the uncertainty. Bring me the questions. Bring me the weariness. Bring me the disappointment. Bring me everything. Not because I need it. Because you need relief. Because you need rest. Because you need peace. And those things are found in me. Not in perfect circumstances. Not in complete understanding. Not in guaranteed outcomes. In me. Many people spend their entire lives searching for what they already have available. They search for security. Yet I am their security. They search for peace. Yet I am their peace. They search for hope. Yet I am their hope. They search for strength. Yet I am their strength. They search for a foundation. Yet I am their foundation. Today I want you to stop searching and start standing. Stand on my promises. Stand on my faithfulness. Stand on my goodness. Stand on my love. Stand on my presence. Stand on the truth that has been supporting you all along. Because when you finally stop trying to become your own foundation, something beautiful happens. Your soul begins to rest. Your heart begins to heal. Your mind begins to quiet. Your faith begins to grow. And peace begins to take the place fear once occupied. That peace does not come because life becomes perfect. It comes because you finally recognize who has been carrying you. The journey may continue. The questions may not all disappear. The challenges may not instantly vanish, but you will walk differently, because you will know what is beneath your feet. You will know who is beneath your feet. You will know that even when circumstances change, your foundation remains. My child, if you remember nothing else from these words, remember this: you are loved. You are seen. You are known. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not walking alone. You are not standing on shifting ground. You are standing on me, and I do not move. If these words have settled deeply into your heart, type, "The Lord is my rock," in the comments below. Let those words become your testimony. Let those words become your reminder. Let those words become your declaration of faith. And if this entire message series has blessed you, helped you, strengthened your faith, or brought peace into your heart, stay connected, continue applying these truths in your daily life, and share them with someone whose footing has been giving way. The lessons you have heard are not meant only for today. They are meant for every season ahead. Keep returning to them. Keep standing on them. Keep walking in them. And remember this final truth: the world may change, people may change, circumstances may change, but the rock beneath you has never moved, and it never will.